Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 194th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the ASMR enthusiast, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Wow. Using the negative connotation names just because I chose to. Hey, what's up?
Oh, yeah. Nah, not much. I didn't do that on purpose. I don't really consider that a negative name, but
Oh, okay, sure.
I was actually trying to mix it up. But I'm making no promises about how savage I'll be for the rest of the day. We'll see about that. Jaden's MIA today. I feel like now that there's video, it's just more easily acknowledged, you know?
Yeah,
In the
you
past,
can realize it quicker.
you can just see that he's not here, pretty quickly. So, like,
All that
I don't
negative
know.
space.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's worth saying. This is possibly the worst week for him not to be here, as I told him.
Yeah. I think it is probably. Yeah.
It really is. Because he's going to come in swinging about how much he loves, this franchise and this movie. And it's like, yeah, well, you couldn't make it. You're not that passionate about it, are you, mate? So.
Must have a good excuse.
Yeah, we don't even know why he's not here. Like, I could only speculate. Did he get recruited into ASIO?
See, I thought you might know because you talked to him the most recently, but
True, but I don't know. No. Do you have a guess? I'm just going to say that he's recruited into maybe abducted by some country. I don't know.
Well, he watched the movie, so it seems like he intended on being here,
True.
So it's something subtle.
When did he watch it?
I don't know. I saw it logged this morning, so maybe last night.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe he was abducted by aliens, like in the past 4 hours.
Yeah,
or something.
cat vampires.
Cat vampires for sure. Yeah.
So
He's a zombie now. Cool. We're gonna have Zombie Jaden joining us next week. That's exciting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere else you get your podcasts. So go ahead and hit that subscribe. This week, the movie we're reviewing is Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, which released in the US on September 22nd, 1998. It was directed by Jim Stenstrom. It's an animated film, and the synopsis says, the mystery gang reunite and visit Moonscar Island, a remote island with a dark secret. Daphne wants more than just a villain in a costume, and they get more than they ever expected. Wow.
Yeah.
Scooby Dooby Doo.
Where are you?
Liam, was it worth it? Was this worth it? This poll choice. How did you like it?
Oh, it was absolutely worth it. It was a good movie. Like I knew this movie was kind of like one of the more popular Scooby Doo films, and then it did something different from other films, and I thought it changed. It manipulated the formula enough to be novel and interesting, while also giving us those, traditional Scooby-Doo hijinks, and I thought it was successful at that balance between the new and the old, and it was just a good time. It was a good plot. It was a good mystery, and I enjoyed it.
Cool. I was going to ask about its reputation and its standing amongst the immense Scooby-Doo collection on Stan. You know what I'm saying? Because, God, did you see that shit?
Yeah, I started watching Ghoul School or something.
Okay.
Which is an even earlier one. But there is quite a range there, yeah.
It was never ending. And the fact that it's probably not even all of them, I assume it's not.
No. Yeah.
Staggering amount of films there on Stan if you're a Scooby-Doo fan. Okay. So wait, how did you hear about this one? Like standing out from the pile? Because I was thinking, like,
fuck,
were you just scrolling and this was just coincidentally the one that popped up, but it doesn't sound like it.
I don't know. Maybe I was looking through Jane's ratings or something. Maybe that's why.
Oh,
Because he likes this one.
yeah.
It could have been that. Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe
that's fair enough.
activity from friends. Like Andy liked some review from someone we don't know, and
Oh yeah.
that just gets the ball rolling.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, fair enough. Yeah. As someone who now famously on the show has no history with Scooby Doo, I thought this movie was fine. There were little moments I was entertained by. I found myself a lot of the time either totally daydreaming or just annoyed by some of the elements I recognize as Scooby Doo tropes. But I've just never liked them. You know what I mean? There's only so many times that you can cut to a song montage and me actually give a shit. And the answer is one time. Yeah, so and this movie did 3. So anyway, the animation was so mid, man. Oh my god. I've got look, it's not bad. It's not bad. But it's just such perfect textbook straight to DVD stuff. And nothing about it stood out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's timeless.
Is
it's
it?
just classic. I don't know. It didn't feel gratingly old or anything. It felt.
No.
It was fine. It stood the test of time. It felt like.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. But do you think it will in 50 years? I mean, actually, you know what?
Yeah,
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah. No, I accept that point. I accept that. But I don't know. I didn't there was nothing about it on the same token that was oh, this is interesting to look at. Oh, that was that was neat. For me.
Well, you
anyway.
didn't think some of the effects were interesting? Like the spiraling green spirits and stuff like that. That was cool.
No. Was it?
I think it plays with the background really well. I think that's cool. In those moments where the spirit's kind of coming out and you get the lightning and the dark atmosphere on this island. It's the animation's really cool there.
Okay. No, fair enough. What is your history with Scooby Doo? Anyway, we know Jaden's. We know him. But are you more like me and you are curious about this, or do you have nostalgia?
I have a normal history with Scooby Doo. I feel I watched the cartoons back in the day on Channel 99, and I mean I've seen the live action film. Don't know if I've seen the second one, but yeah, I've definitely seen the first one a few times, and
yeah, I think I have too actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just Scooby Doo. Everyone knows what Scooby Doo is, but I don't know. I wouldn't say I have nostalgia or anything. Maybe a little bit, but I never watched these movies or anything, so not to the extent of a true fan. I'm missing comrade. So yeah.
You're missing who?
I'm missing comrade, Jaden.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, him. Sorry, I forgot it. I forgot about him already. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, okay. No, I get you. I don't know. I just I mean, I wish Jane was here to rant at me about this, but I just totally missed this. I don't know. This stuff went over my head. I have this weird memory of. I did see the live action film. I have this weird memory of for some reason. I mean, it happens in primary school, where the teachers will just put on something, and for something, as we know, feel you've got no idea in what context it was put on. But at the time, there was a Scooby Doo film played in primary school for me at one stage. And I just remember being kind of annoyed by it then, And other than that, no. I just remember being kind of oh, look, it's the, I don't know, it's that guy they met at the start. He's under the mask. Oh, great. And then there were 3 songs in it. And it's wow, nothing's changed. So,
yeah, but this movie inverts that, Zach. You still have the 3 songs, which are good songs. But, the magic is real. The supernatural elements are real.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Okay. There are definitely a few things that stood out as like trying to break the conventions of Scooby Doo, from my loose understanding of what those are. And I kind of like those are worth talking about because they're interesting in that if the film's trying to subvert expectations, but like it still never really. It came across like to me. It came across like let's subvert Scooby Doo expectations, but then that's all they did though. They just subverted them. Like they didn't. There was nothing interesting done with how they subverted them. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, I understand that usually, you know, the real twist, as this movie points out many times, it's always the fact that there's someone under the mask. They're not real monsters, you know? And it's like, cool. I like that the movie acknowledges that's you know, we're aware that this is what Scooby Doo always happens in our things. And then they sort of had that opening montage, well, not opening, but, you know, towards the start of the film where it's like they're desperate to find one that's real. It's like, okay, I appreciate you acknowledging that. That's cool. And then, I don't know. The thing in this movie is that they found one that was real. And it was so underwhelming that I kind of just wished that it ended up not being real and they subverted the subversion.
Yeah, okay. But I didn't feel it was underwhelming because you had a whole complex morally grey history behind the evil in this film. You know what I mean? Like the main villains, they were victims from the ghost, and they became the villains over time. And yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the way it's like revealed is a little anticlimactic, but I think the villains are actually pretty decent, pretty cool.
Like what are the cat?
They're like
what the cat vampires.
Vampires, I guess. Yeah,
I read they had a name in the trivia that I've forgotten. That was like combining the words or something. I can't remember. So that was kind of interesting. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I don't know. They were kind of ridiculous. Did you see? Like, did you have your eye on those two women on the island?
Yeah, a little bit. I guess. Do you want me to like do a rundown of like what I thought, my suspicions in every character?
Please do.
I thought that the guy who hated tourists and the Bo, the gardener, I thought they were definite red herrings. Like they definitely weren't the villains. Right. They were too overtly, negative, too grumpy. So I kind of ruled them out. And then I was like, I was sus of, the cute girl that like lured them in. I forget her name, but the fact that she kind of lured them in was a bit sus. And then who else? I mean, I guess there wasn't. I don't know what I thought about the boat guy that brought them in. I was kind of like neutral on him.
Oh, Jacques.
Jacques, yeah. That should be suspicious right there, just calling him, having the name Jacques.
I'll say.
Yeah. And all three of them kind of had different, like, weird accents. Like,
oh, yeah. Like, Jacques had a Mexican accent?
Yeah, he had a Mexican accent, even though isn't Jacques, like, is Jacques French? A French name? Yeah.
I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah, Jacques to me, yeah. So, like, I don't know, yeah. I guess I suspected the right people a little bit, but, like, not enough to fully call them out as the villains. I didn't expect the kind of, duo trio thing going on here as well. So.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's probably the part that got me the most in terms of I didn't think that... Yeah, again, I forget her name. Like the servant girl lady who lures them there in the first place. And then the actual, like, main... oh, God, I don't know her name either. The main chick who's, like, the owner of the house or whatever. She, the fact that they were in cahoots, I wasn't expecting that because they sort of seemed to have a different dynamic going in terms of, like, I don't know, you don't really expect the person who, like, works for you to then end up being, like, your colleague. in crime kind of thing necessarily, because they sort of, I guess, in the when once they were revealed to be the cat vampires, they were kind of equals, right? As far as I understood.
Yeah. Well, the fact that one was working for the other made me think that they pitted against each other at some point. So that was a subversion in itself, I guess.
Yeah, that's sort of how I felt. So I didn't see that part coming. 100% agree with you with the bloody FBI guy, the farmer guy.
Burr, yeah.
Burr.
Another French name.
Oh, yeah, because it was spelt that way, yeah. The real twist was that Burr was a detective. That was the real twist, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I just thought he was Gardner, dude. Yeah.
Same. It's like Jaden. It's like, I didn't know this whole time he's like posing as podcast host, but he's actually an ASIO agent, you know? He's just been called. He's been called to field work today. That's why he's
Cody Banks. Yeah.
Cody Banks. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's that. I guess the other part of like the subversion of like, or maybe not subversion. Maybe we can move past that word. But like, I guess playing with Scooby Doo lore in some sense. At least that's how I saw it. Was like the idea of the gang breaking up. In the beginning of this movie was interesting. It felt kind of significant for Scooby Doo lore to me. I mean, for all I know, it happens every week. I don't know, but like I don't think so. And it seemed to me like, oh, that's actually kind of an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, and I think it made the film feel more complete as well. The fact that they start off, separate, and they have to like come together for some cause or something. If they were together at the start, it would kind of be the same story as usual. And the fact that they actually the fact that they open with that little like classic Scooby Doo montage of like chasing the creatures through the castle type thing, it's like they're actively pointing to what they're I'm going to use the words to what they're subverting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I love the opening and that they got together. It was pretty cute. It was pretty fun.
I assume all these movies open with the song, right?
I know. That's what we need Jane for.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Ghoul School doesn't. Ghoul School has a Scrappy Doo though, and I don't know if the gang is actually there. I think it's just Shaggy and Scooby and Scrappy.
Who's Scrappy?
We'll get into it later, Zach.
Is he? Wait, is he another character? Another like mainstay?
Yeah, well, he was like earlier on in the series. So I do know this. Like people hated Scrappy Doo because he was featured. Look up Scrappy Doo. He's hilarious. But he was featured so much in like the 3rd or 4th season around that time, and he was on like a lot of episodes for like 10 years, and so fans started hating Scrappy Doo because he took away from the rest of the main cast, from Velma and Daphne and Fred.
God forbid he takes away from Fred's character development. God forbid.
Yeah. All right. Fred's such an interesting character. Complex character.
Yeah. Okay, but but is he what? So what is he? So he's another dog.
Yeah. He's a little dog. He's Scooby Doo's nephew, and he's like this cocky kind of braggadocious little creature.
That's hilarious.
He was in the live action film too, but he was like a joke in that.
Oh yeah, I've seen this dude.
Yeah,
he's literally a little Scooby Doo.
Yeah. But
I was kind of picturing like a color or something.
But he's kind of more cocky.
Yeah, right. I guess I've seen that. I guess I just sort of thought that was like young Scooby Doo, like they do flashbacks, or they do like young Scooby Doo episodes or something. I don't know.
Like young
actually different. Yeah, exactly. I didn't realize it was actually a different character. Okay. That's funny. So what, people actually hated him. That reminds me so much. You know the Simpsons episode where it's like Homer voice, I don't know, what's his name? That sounds like a play on that. Where Homer voices, oh my God. Itchy and Scratchy in Simpsons. Yeah. And then Homer gets cast as like their third mascot character, like the third one.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's something like Shaggy Dog. What the fuck? It sounds like, now that I know this story, it sounds like it's actually meant to be a spin
Maybe
on
a
it.
reference to it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
then what happens is that everyone hates Homer's dog character in
Yeah.
Itchy and Scratchy, and then
That's
they have to
hilarious.
kill him off. Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds like it's a Scrappy Doo law. Yeah,
it really does. I didn't.
that's history.
That's probably totally intentional. I never realized that. That's so funny. Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know. I mean, to be fair though, like I did like the idea of the gang breaking up, but it lasted like 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, it didn't last long.
No,
But
no, it wasn't really.
it's still a funny way to
dramatic
start the movie. And
Yeah.
like if you didn't do that, I think the film would feel a bit less complete. You know,
Mm.
like it's a short film as it is. It's like a 75-minute film, so adding in a little bit of extra, a few extra ingredients, kind of makes it a more, a fuller meal, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As
it
opposed
did
to
also.
like feeling like an episode, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So I do. Yeah, I do think it was a bit short, but I agree with that, and I'm also very glad that it gave us Scooby working as customs dog.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah,
that was like the best part of the movie. That was fun.
I actually agree. That's such a good idea. I feel like I need. They should. I don't know. I feel like that could be a movie itself. You know what I mean?
Adventures
more
in
there.
customs. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much you could get into there, and but I want them to like actually, still maintain, like, I'm not wanting something super serious, but like sort of have their regular gags and silly stuff, but then still actually get into like legal issues as a result of Scooby being kind of a weird customs dog. Like, he starts what do you call it? Like sniffing the wrong bags. You know what I mean? That he gets into legal turmoil.
Yeah, racial profiling. Like they do on that show. What's it called? Customs.
Yeah, or like there's customs, or like there's another one.
Border security.
Border security, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo border security spin-off.
That'd be great.
I'd be super into that. I guess this. I mean, we can. I guess we'll sort of talk about it later with our favorite Scooby Doo characters. But like, I don't know. This movie made me appreciate how much I just love seeing like Shaggy and Scooby have like food vlogs in the middle of these movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because they were pretty entertaining.
They were. That was
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna add that like every time, like I don't know, there's like a scene where like Daphne and Velma are like, oh, let's look at the house, and I'm like, I'm kind of like it's time to drift, and then
They brought you back.
and then there's oh well, it's when like Scooby and Shaggy get kicked out, and then they have to eat in the van, and there's just this 1 minute scene of them like eating crabs, and I'm just like, this is good stuff. That's how I felt about it.
No, yeah, I agree. They broke up the monotony of the tours a bit, and that's a classic, hijinks I'm talking about that this film succeeds at, that it has in abundance. So I'm glad you understand the lure of Scooby Doo a little bit.
A little bit in that sense, because I mean, I've rarely related to cartoon characters as much as just the amount of food that they can eat, and the amount of food they just love eating food. Like that's a very relatable trait to me, I don't relate to these other characters as much, but if you give me a character that's just like, I just want to eat food all day, it's like, yeah, that's great. I'm into that for sure.
True.
And then it creates some quality one-liners, like probably my favorite line in the movie, that got an actual external laugh from me was well, hang on, I don't want to botch it. We just got chased into a hole by 1/3 of a BLT.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
that's a good line.
That's good.
So shout out to that. I guess I don't know. A lot of the time for me, it's just a lot of classic Scooby Doo stuff that does start to wear thin. For me, like, I don't know, I mentioned the songs, the montages. I just find them kind of corny. I don't know. Are those songs original? They're not original songs, right? I was just kind of confused where they come from. They
I
all
don't
have a
know.
vibe.
Well, one of the songs wasn't original because it was like directly stating the situation they were in the movie. You know, like whether or not the monsters were fake. But the other ones, I'm not sure. I mean, the first one's obviously the original song, but
Yeah.
there were a few in there that I didn't recognize. Or maybe that from this. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I like the idea that they just, like, for every one of these, like, as we've already established, like 50 films on stand, right? For every single one of these they pumped out, I presume there's like one a year of these DVDs. For every single one, they had to like write 2 or 3 original songs that all kind of sound similar, but like relate to the plot, you know?
Similar chords and yeah.
They must have like a songwriting team that are just like, that's all they do. They write the Scooby Doo songs that all kind of sound similar.
Sure. It's like that guy in Under the Silver Lake who writes all the songs for Hollywood. You know, that's that guy.
I haven't seen that movie.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, Jane, I'm just appeasing Jane right now.
Yeah.
Keeping
Good
him
reference. Yeah. Were there any? That was kind of one of my main ones. But were there any lines or repeat gags that like did start to wear thin on you at all, or is it all just like part of the Scooby charm? You know, because like if I had nostalgia, I can see just like taking it for what it is, but like with no connection, it's like only so many times you can say Jingies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, because the thing about like the other characters other than Scooby and Shaggy is that they don't have too many hijinks or like eccentricities or anything, so there's not too much there that can wear thin. Like I feel like Fred and Daphne are pretty like plain for most of this film, and so the only thing that really could wear thin was like the Scooby Shaggy dynamic, which I guess my interest was waning a little bit by the end, but it was never an issue, as you say. So yeah.
Okay.
I think it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is weird because on one hand, like I've sort of said, like Scooby and Shaggy were my highlights, but on the other hand, I don't know. It's like, how many times can he call cats rats? You know, it's like, and I don't know. It's just all, and like Luke wrote in a review later. It's like, how many times can he say that line? It's just like probably 4 too many times each. You know what I mean? But like, maybe I just say, I know I sound grumpy. I know. It's like, just enjoy it for what it is. But it's like, I don't know. It's a little bit too much.
I think by the end, where Shaggy and Scooby's role is just to kind of like run around the tunnels and get thrown around. That was the point where I was least interested in their antics, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, the rats line, I guess he says that, like, yeah, a few too many times.
Yeah.
What do you expect, I guess?
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. Okay. Scooby-Doo law question that you're going to probably not be able to answer, but it needs to be raised. Why are they called Scooby Snacks?
Oh.
Like on the box. Like I sort of figured
yeah.
that's like their little nickname for like him having a treat. You know what I mean? But it's like,
Well,
Scooby's just dogs.
It's an excuse for merchandising for sure.
Oh yeah, big time.
Maybe they go to the effort to brand it themselves. I mean, I don't know. Maybe all the dogs in this world are called Scooby. Who knows?
Well, right, maybe. Well, Scrappy Doo goes against that.
Yeah. Well, it's still an S though. SD. You know. I mean, maybe they're so popular that it's like they got their own brand of snacks, and now he has them.
Okay, all right. That's an interesting idea. Well, the other thing also to acknowledge is that Scooby Doo doesn't acknowledge himself as a dog. So these aren't necessarily dog treats. These could just be human food. See,
Well, Shaggy
he just
does
eats
eat it.
human food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like maybe these are like the equivalent of like Tim Tams or some shit.
Right.
We've
Yeah.
interpreted it wrong the whole time.
Chicken in the box kind of thing. Chicken in the biscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? I do love your idea of they're just like regular treats, and then they for every box they put the effort of like put a Scooby Snack sticker on it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's going way overboard with what you need to do for that. That's hilarious. Well, I guess I don't mean to go all the way back to the animation necessarily, but in terms of, I don't disagree with its timelessness. But part of it that I was curious about as well was that I don't think Scooby Doo's ever really had any sort of significant art style iteration over the years, right? As far as I've ever seen on any box, or you know what I mean? Because I feel like when you compare it to, say, Batman or Ninja Turtles, may even be a bit of a better comparison in terms of just how many there are. Like, there are all these different versions of like how the characters are drawn, and you know, when different creatives come in and try different things with the characters. It's just, I just find it funny, and I know there's like obviously the live action films, and then there's that CG movie they've done. So there's been little bits and bobs. But overall, I feel like it's funny how these characters, as they appear in this film, just always appear the same when they're 2D drawn like this.
Yeah, it's pretty constant, yeah.
I find that funny that like no one's, I don't know. I just thought they would have tried something different by now. But maybe that would, I don't know, maybe that would cause outcry in the community of Scooby Doo.
Well, there's already been enough of that. Everyone hated the Velma show and the Scooby Doo.
Oh, Velma show! I forgot that existed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the worst. That was like, I think everyone rallied against that. All the Scooby Doo fans united to trash Velma. Really? 1.6 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh wow!
And that did have a different art style, I think.
Right. Wow, that is the low point of Scooby Doo lore. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wait, was that the one where Shaggy was black?
I think Velma was.
Oh, Velma was black.
I think so.
I thought something weird was Shaggy in that show too.
Oh yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
That's so weird. That's so weird. I don't know. Like, again, newbie here, but like, does anyone truly have aspirations to flesh out Velma?
I mean, Velma's more interesting than Fred or Daphne. Fred and Daphne are the worst. They're just they don't have the idiosyncrasies that Velma does have, like in her nerdiness and her. Even Jinkies is more iconic than anything, Daphne or Fred ever said. So,
no, I agree with that. I do, but she's only, I don't know. Fred and Daphne are like nothing, and Velma's like acceptable.
No, yeah, I'll accept that. Yeah,
you know what I mean. She didn't look. I don't even know how much of a thing it is, but like the thing I've always recognised Velma for personally, and always latched onto with her, is I can't see without my glasses, and she didn't even say it in this movie.
True, but she did have it fogged up, and then Scooby Doo had to, unfog it. That's from the live action film, though, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, okay. See, I thought it was just a thing Velma said all the time.
I mean, it probably is. Like her glass, her being not able to see is probably another, eccentricity that we're, highlighting. So, yeah, I think she's slightly more unique than Fred Daphne, but I agree that she's probably not worthy of her own show.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. Okay, I got one bit of trivia here that I thought was kind of random. This film marks the first time someone besides Casey Kasem voices Shaggy. The reason being, this is so weird. The reason being that Kassem refused to provide the voice of Shaggy if he would not be vegetarian like himself, because Shaggy eats crayfish in this movie. Instead, Shaggy is voiced by Billy West. So then I dug into the credits and dug into, because I don't know who these people are, dug into Casey Kasem and his voice credits. Casey then went on to voice Shaggy, so he was always the voice of Shaggy prior. He then went on to voice Shaggy consistently again until he passed away in 2014. So it's like, what was this? Did he like come in like cranky one morning just thinking, I want Shaggy to be vegetarian today? And everyone
He
was
just
like,
wanted everything his way for like a year, and then was like,
yeah.
okay.
You realise that was weird?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, trying to make Shaggy vegetarian is like pretty wild. You know, as you said, food is one of his biggest character traits. The fact that he eats a lot of food. So it would kind of be a bit awkward if he was only eating, lettuce and tomato.
Whatever vegetarians eat. Exactly.
Tofu.
Tofu, yeah. It's like in a chai bowl or whatever they're called. Yeah. I don't know. That's so funny. I guess the creatives fought him on that, and they were right to, because don't do that. It's a bad idea. Okay. We got a few reviews here for this film.
Oh yeah.
Jaden wrote in and said, "Fantastic film, very important to my childhood, exceptional animation, and I love the sound design. 8 out of 10. Anything about the sound stand out to you?
Exceptional animation.
Yeah, again, yeah.
Yeah, at points, I think when those ghosts come, when those kind of spirits come, I think the animation and sound is at its best. Otherwise it's just the usual kind of we know when they're running and it's like it's like they can't run and it's that sound. It's like that kind of sound is like most of the film, but when it isn't those points, it's really unique and good. So
yeah. I appreciate Jaden shouting out the sound design. But Jaden, tell me, who was the sound designer on this movie?
Oh yeah.
You don't know? Well,
you're the problem, Jaden. You're the problem.
Exactly. Well said. Luke said, "Dog, where? 6 out of 10.
The rogue, right?
Scooby does have a pretty funny voice, I must admit. It is funny. Okay. Andy said, "As a person who never had much experience with the actual series itself, I was bizarrely impressed with how good this actually was compared to my expectation. It goes in a much darker direction than I'd have expected from something that looks as silly and unserious as Scooby Doo. This has a legit more inventive and twisted plot than most actual horror movies. I'm already convinced that the grim, spooky thriller being done here is more scary than any Stephen King flick I've seen so far. Don't at me. The second half has some of the best contrast lighting I've ever seen in any animation since the Wallace and Gromit short film, The Wrong Trousers." Okay. So Andy's got a bit more bona fides there, and he agrees with you. Well, that's what you were talking about, right? I assume you're talking about the same parts of the animation. Second, the contrast lighting.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, it's not the characters that are animated in any interesting way or animated any differently than how they usually are. It's just like the backgrounds and the they have no like natural lighting on the island. They use kind of torches, and so you kind of get that depth and that contrast as well. Is a good shout, good word.
Yeah.
There were.
I must admit there were a few shots that stood out to me for having depth of field, which was kind of interesting at times.
Yeah.
I'm in awe with how amazing this viewing experience was, and I'm definitely not saying this to wind up Zach. Liam has definitely chosen the pole film of the channel's history. I look very forward to hearing you boys discuss real cinema. Jaden will remind you meddling kids to cover all of the camels throughout. Oh my god, especially the L, because that one was quite masterful. Zach will probably be complaining about how Pixar could have done this better, I'd imagine. Oh, well, that's a given. I originally put this off as a joke viewing to get it out of the way, kind of like Dr. Luke was being, kind of like Dr. Luke was doing based on his rating. But it was an unbelievably entertaining and intense piece of cinema, almost the best movie from 1998. 9 out of 10. Holy smokes. Andy coming in hot on this one.
Yeah. True
Nice.
believer.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Andy. Very good. Yeah. Ready to get to final verdicts?
I don't know. I just like the. I think the story with the villains is very cool. How they were just kind of, how they were just kind of like immigrants to this island, and they were booted off by these pirates, and they invoked this ancient ritual. It was that kind of grey, like that kind of brown, like it was like a brown, black and white sequence. That shit was like very cool. That was like peak. And yeah, I think the film worked because that story was solid, and it was, yeah, it wasn't like as I said, the reveal was kind of anticlimactic, but once I like delved into that backstory, it was like pretty cool.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, the color that they had going on for the flashback was cool. I agree. Okay, cool. Let's get to our final verdicts for Scooby Doo on Zombie Island. I'll slap a 5 on it. Done.
5.
Fitzy. Yeah.
I'll slap an 8 on it. I think it was great. I think it was a good time. It's a good animated film. One of the best Scooby Doo films I've seen out of the 2, 2 or 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, can we all I'm not gonna lie. I know I've said my piece about the poll. I'll leave that as it is. But I was kind of terrified with the amount on Stan, to where we're either please don't request this anymore, and please don't nominate this anymore.
Okay, fine.
You know what I mean?
I'll accept that.
They were way too plentiful there for me. That I had a bit of a nightmare for a flash forward scenario where Cinema Effect becomes like a monthly, Scooby Doo podcast, every month, we do one a month or some shit. Oh my god! You know what? I would be more than supportive if yourself, this is a great new podcast idea. Jaden, the veteran, who loves, he wants to get into Scooby Doo and likes it. Get Andy on there because he thinks it's impactful cinema or some shit. Do your own little Scooby Doo podcast, you know what I mean? And leave me out of it.
Yeah. When you call it Scrappies or something, because we're all small, or something like that, Scrappy Effect or something. Yeah.
Scrappy Effect.
It'd be great.
I mean, I must admit, if there's going to be a Cinema Effect spin-off, I never expected it would be a Scooby-Doo one, but
No, I'm done. I promise.
Okay. If you want to do that podcast, go for it, but
I'll consider it.
Could be fun. Let's get into news chat. There are actually a ton of trailers this week, which was fun. But we only saw we saw 3 sort of big ones, so we'll talk about those. First of all, let's get into Alien Romulus.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool that there's a new Alien film coming out so soon. Do you know the director's name off the top of your head? Because he's the guy who did Evil Dead and Don't Breathe, I believe.
Don't Breathe. No, I don't know his name, but I've seen Don't Breathe.
It was like Fede, or I don't know if that's how you meant to say it. Something like that.
Fede Alvarez.
Fede Alvarez. Right. Cool that there's some new blood coming in. What did you think?
Yeah, the trailer was very cool. They kind of the kind of subheading said taking Alien back to its roots or something, which is you can either interpret that as it's taking it back to the claustrophobia and feel of the 80s film, or you can interpret it as it's just another origin story for Alien, just Covenant and Prometheus and all the rest. So, but I watched the trailer and it's definitely the former. It's definitely a Ridley inspired alien film. It's like the trailer's fully set on the ship, and it's just got that, thriller horror vibe of the first film. It's pretty much just looks like an updated alien film, so it looks really sick. And there was some gnarly kind of, horror sequences in the film as well. So it looks very promising. And I think Don't Breathe I was kind of mid on, but I think like the horror and suspense in that film was like really well done. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I liked it too. To me, it really, I mean, it's definitely what you were talking about, the former, like going back to the first film in its vibe. And I don't know, like part of me, I'm sure a lot of fans are going to really love that. I don't know, like I thought the trailer looked like very visually striking and claustrophobic and all those things you want to see. I was impressed with the way it looked and the way the ship looked, and it looked all very nice and very scary, and that's great. But I don't know, I guess I'm just in a weird place now that I've seen all these movies where it's like I saw that so Ridley's obviously producing this movie, and I read somewhere that he like really loves this movie, like he was really impressed with it. So that's obviously a good sign. But then another part of me is kind of like, I don't know, am I really that interested in it going back to its roots in terms of like just I'm not that interested in just an Alien remake. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Or like just another like it's a crew when they're out there, and then the fucking xenomorph comes and attacks them, and it's like cool. It might be really scary. It might be really well done. That's great, and I'll probably like it. But I don't know how interested I am in that. At least I appreciate that Ridley was, doing sort of big things with the story, So, and like, obviously that's all, I'm just going based off the trailer. Maybe it will do interesting stuff, but I'm kind of, I guess I'm saying is that it looks really good, but my main concern is that it's just going to end up being, an alien movie, and that's fine, but I would like a little bit more from it, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a teaser, so they could be, but I'm very happy with it just being a remake, personally.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think a lot of people will agree with that for sure. And we'll definitely be doing it on the show, and it'll be nice to go and see one of these in the theatre for the first time. For my first time, that'll be fun. Cool. Okay. We had The Penguin.
Yeah, it was a decent trailer. It's like a mafia. It's like a mafia show set in Gotham. The Penguin talks about his his influence as a kid. So it feels it felt a bit reminiscent of like a Godfather type thing, which was interesting. Like he looked up to a figure who gave back to the community, which doesn't seem like the Penguin at all. So maybe they'll play on that. Maybe they'll play on that dynamic of like who he perceives himself to be and who he is or something. But I don't know. Yeah, it had the classic kind of Matt Reeves like dark background and cityscape from the film, and the kind of cool explosions and stuff which kind of lit up the city. So it looks very good.
Yeah, visually I totally agree. I don't think Greg Fraser had anything to do with this as far as I know, but like it looked just like his work in the film, so like I was very happy with that. That's very exciting. Yeah, like story-wise, I mean, first of all, I'm definitely going to check this out. Colin Farrell's monologue was awesome. He's awesome as the character. He's awesome in general, so like that's fantastic. I don't know, it's funny, like we got the first teaser like a year ago, and this didn't reveal much more than that, but it is coming out, in the coming months. So that's cool. I mean, it was definitely a vibe setter. I like the monologue. I like some of the glimpses we got of the action. It felt very much like we said, like the film. So I've got no reason not to be interested because the film's pretty damn good. So that's great. That's great. And I still cannot get over that that's Colin Farrell. Like I don't know.
No,
It's still unbelievable.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'll watch this whole show. It'll probably be like 10 episodes, and then I'll be done, and I'll be like, wait, that was Colin Farrell. I still won't believe it.
Mm.
It looks insane in that makeup. Okay, finally, we got the Acolyte trailer. I was very interested in this, obviously, when it finally popped up. I've been interested in this show for quite a few years. And Jaden wrote in and said he really liked it too, which I was glad to hear. But yeah, Fitzy, what do you think?
I mean, I thought it looked decent. I don't know. So is this set in like the time of the prequels, or
It's set around, I think. Well, it's set in the High Republic, which ranges. It's a few hundred years before the prequels.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if we know exactly when or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, a few hundred years before the prequels.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. The kind of main villain, I recognize her from something, Bodies, maybe, or like something. But she's a good actress, and I like seeing Carrie Ann Moss in a Star Wars film, in a Star Wars show. That'll be interesting. And
yeah.
I don't know. The story looks all right. It looks decent. They said it's a story about like power and who can wield it. So maybe it'll, be more of a, I don't know, like a little bit more of a social commentary type Star Wars product. But that's just like my theory. That's just what.
Yeah,
that's what we can glean from this.
Yeah.
Small trailer. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's true. The thing about that's really exciting about this to me is the fact that we've never had it. Isn't it so weird? We've never had a live action Star Wars thing outside of the Skywalker saga time frame, like in that 80 years, I guess it would be, right? So it's everything's always a spin off from that. It's either you're either one of the main films or you're a spin off from it in some capacity. And this thing is just like totally going way back for the first time, which is actually, with the amount of Star Wars things there have been, it sort of feels long overdue in that sense. So that's pretty exciting. Like, this is a time of like where the Jedi are at their height. There's all this. I don't know. It's just like the perfect vision of what you kind of want the Jedi to be on screen in terms of like the crazy, the awesome robes, tons of Jedi, tons of lightsabers. Like, there's that shot at the end, with all the different colors of lightsabers. Like, I'm so into that kind of stuff. So, and then of course there's the one red lightsaber. It's like, whoa, there's a red lightsaber. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What could that possibly mean? Because the Sith are meant to be extinct for 1,000 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, well,
is that the case? Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, what is this mystery? That's sort of what the creator was describing the show as a mystery thriller, is how she was describing it. So I'll be interested to see what there's a lot of mystery around the plot. So I'll be interested to find out what that's all about. If the Sith are involved, what that means.
So are there any characters from like the prequels or the Skywalker saga who are in this? Like, is Yoda there? Is Darth Plagueis there?
Yeah, so I mean, fans are going to have so many theories about Plagueis for sure. We don't know. It's possible. It's possible for sure. Yoda's 100% like basically in the exact same spot he was in the prequels, up there in the council. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's a scene, but I don't expect him to be like a main character or anything. But he'll 100% be referenced, and then might even be in it. So yeah, there's that. Outside of that, not really. No, a couple of old Jedi, basically. Then you're basically, in terms of all the main characters, it's a fresh slate. Carrie Ann Moss, like you said, I love the martial arts influence that they had in that action scene that they quickly showed. Using the Force in that way was really cool. And then outside of that, I guess it's mainly just Squid Game Man as well. He was there.
Was he? Or who's that? It was like
he was the main Korean dude. He's the Squid Game Man, like main character. Yeah.
Cool.
So good for him. Yeah. I'm excited. It starts in June, so it'll probably come around pretty quick.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. If it's like successful, then it'll be the first kind of if it's the first like big success for a Star Wars story before the Skywalker saga, that'll be promising for like new movies and that kind of thing.
Definitely.
if they want to go further
Definitely.
back. So yeah.
There's so much they can do there. Absolutely. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
Not much. I rewatched The Sixth Sense. Shamalama Ding Dong. Yeah, it's still great. It's like peak. Shyamalan is like his peak of like his traditional filmmaking. You know, later on he kind of does some weird shit, and some people like it, some people don't. I really like it, but there's no doubt that his early movies are just really solid in their direction and their acting and everything. So yeah, the Sixth Sense is like it's very scary movie. Like it's one of the like it's a pretty plain. No, it's not a plain movie. It's got solid like dramatic elements, and you can kind of watch it and enjoy it outside of its horror, but the kind of the latent eeriness and the few jump scares that are in the Sixth Sense are like really awesome. Mainly partly because they're blended with the drama so well, and yeah, just the way that he integrates different elements of the story and then just like unexpectedly brings them together at the end is like awesome. And I think The Sixth Sense and like Unbreakable are like the pinnacle of those in terms of examples. So yeah, it's awesome. You should check it out, Zach. And
yeah.
The child acting from dude is what's his name?
Haley Joel.
Yeah, Haley Joel Osment. Yeah.
Oswald. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Osmond, I think. Yeah, it is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he is really good. He was. I mean, he is still really good because he was in Glass. Remember that? Wait, was he? Oh no, that's that other kid. I get it mixed up.
I'm not sure if he was in Glass.
No, because no, because the kid in Unbreakable is obviously in Glass.
Oh yeah.
He's not. That's not Haley. But anyway, Haley is in stuff as an adult, and he's still good. So like, but yeah, he was great for sure.
But he was like an amazing. He's like one of the best child actors ever. You know, he was amazing in like AI, and then Pay It Forward, and
yes, Pay It Forward. Yeah.
And exactly. Bruce Willis is peaking as well in Sixth Sense. So. Yeah.
I think I know what your answer is going to be, but like the reason I haven't watched this movie is because like I know the spoiler and it just puts me off. It just puts me off wanting to watch it. You know what I mean? It just annoys me.
You know, I didn't know you knew this one.
Yeah, I know. I'm usually pretty good with not knowing movie spoilers, but I just know that one. So.
No, you can definitely still watch it. You definitely should still give it a go.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I should. I love Unbreakable, so it's like I feel like it'd speak my language. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So I watched The Remains of the Day. No, I finished this week The Offer, which for those who don't know is this show about the making of The Godfather, because The Godfather, as I think some people know in cinema lore, maybe not quite as much as Apocalypse Now, where Francis wanted to kill himself. I don't think he ever quite got to that point. But making of The Godfather was quite turbulent. So much so, I just find it something about like Paramount Plus making. I mean, I know it makes perfect sense because they own the film, and like obviously we're like years and years removed from many of these people that actually were involved in the making of the original, in terms of like on the studio side. So I understand it's not something about it though. Just feels still deeply ironic that like Paramount Plus like makes this show about how like Paramount was often like really annoying in making The Godfather. But anyway, so they made this 10 episode series about the making of The Godfather. It's based on Al Ruddy's book. I think it's literally called Making the Godfather. And Al Ruddy was the producer on the film. He's the main character of the show, played by Miles Teller. And I thought the show was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. As someone who loves behind the scenes stuff, like I mentioned last week, but so it really speaks to that side of me as well, and just like hearing all the conversations, and it really leaned into that at times too, like the creative process and the meetings, and it doesn't shy away from that stuff in favor of just trying to over dramatize shit. Like it really does. It's more than happy just to talk about the making of the film at times. So I really enjoyed that side of it. But then there's also just plenty of drama as well, because there was so much drama in making this goddamn movie, literally involving the mafia, the real life mafia, at many points, which was kind of crazy and kind of hilarious. And in the end, it kind of turned wholesome, which I wasn't expecting. Just a stat cast of people you'd recognize. Like kind of, I don't know. There's this one of the dudes in it. I couldn't tell you his name at all, but I've seen him in so many things. He's like a European, like an Austrian guy, I think, or a European guy. There's like tons of recognizable faces. Juno Temple's in it as well, who's Keely and Ted Lasso. So, stat cast. Dan Fogler, who is the Muggle dude in Fantastic Beasts. I can't remember that guy's name. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He plays Francis Ford Coppola, and he is fantastic. He looks so much like him in the show. It's I can't say I'm as familiar with like what all the other real life counterparts look like, but from what some of the pictures I've seen and stuff, like he is dead on. Like he looks so great. So yeah, no, just a really enjoyable show. I think my main concern going into it, because the first episode was probably my least favorite, and then after that, and then learning that there were 10 1-hour episodes of this show, I was kind of like, it's the thing I've talked about before on this show of like, is this going to be too many episodes? Like, do we really need 10 1-hour episodes to cover this story? You know what I mean? But then by the end of it, like, it was perfect. There are actually things that they kind of went fast through, but I thought worked well. Like, it serviced it. You didn't need to linger on that shit, but like other shows would have. So it actually ended up being like the perfect amount of time for what they had to cover. So yeah, I was very impressed with the show overall. And Miles Teller in it it's weird. He's doing a voice. He's not just using his regular voice. It's kind of this accent. And by the end, like I totally stopped noticing it. Like he really blended in as the character. So I thought he did a great job as well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend The Offer if you're at all interested in the topic. I thought it was great. And you know, as those things do, it makes me, I'm going to rewatch The Godfather and I'm going to think it's awesome again, probably, you know. And shout out to all the producers out there, by the way. Talk about people who don't get love. Because, my God, already made this movie happen. I mean, to be fair, like it is based on the book that's from his perspective. So, maybe take some of it with a grain of salt. But the way it's portrayed is like, holy shit, this guy made this shit happen. It's crazy some of the stuff he had to do, you know.
Yeah, I did watch like an episode or two of the show, it was pretty great. I just think I kind of forgot about it, but I can attest to like Miles Teller's what Miles Teller's doing. Slightly different than the usual shtick. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. I would recommend it. It was enjoyable throughout, but like it really, I think it was equally enjoyable throughout, but like by the end of it, and like especially episode 9, the second last one, like there's they pull some stuff, and you sort of start realizing, you start realizing how much you care. Like they really do a great job with building it up. And of course I care because, you know, I want The Godfather to be made. You know what I mean? Imagine if like by the end it's like they realize it's an alternate universe when the movie never comes out. Like, whoa. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, who is the best Scooby Doo character? Andy said, like Shaggy, of course. Like he's skinny, stupid, but relatable. I have a feeling I'll not enjoy the live action version of him or the other main characters. So Andy's apparently got intention of watching the live action ones now. Good luck with that. I'm interested to see his thoughts. That is one thing we didn't mention though, Shaggy always saying like, which was actually like charming.
Oh, good. Yeah, it is like pretty cool. Like, yeah.
It's endearing. Jaden said, I love this autocorrect. I thought it was so funny. Best Scooby Doo character.
Is that autocorrect or is that like a conscious?
Oh, is he doing
name?
It on purpose? Oh, maybe.
I think I've heard that. Scooby.
I've never heard that. I thought it was just a typo. That's hilarious. Anyway, best Scooby Doo character in regards to the main group is Velma.
That's his That's his actual name, Scuba Doo. Scooby Doo. Scooby is just his nickname. His real name is Scuba.
His mother named him Scuba?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Jared. That's hilarious. Many fantastic guests, but some of my favourites are Minor 69er and the Alien Chick and Dog from one of the movies. Love all the movies though. Okay, that was really confusing. Do you think he's talking about Scrappy when he says one of the dogs?
Oh.
Surely.
Yeah, maybe. One of the dogs. I don't know what
I hope so. I hope he's talking about Scrappy. Minor 69er. That's a meme or something. There's no way.
I don't know. I'm trying to find information on this. I can't. Minor 69er. Scooby Doo. Oh, minor 49er? Was originally cast as minor 69er? What?
So there's a character named Minor 49er.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. Jaden's, just in his one little comment, has shown just how invested he is in Scooby Doo. He knows Scuba Doo's real name.
He's showing a wealth of knowledge there. Yeah.
The Minor 69er meme. Okay, all right. Jesus. Okay, well, I've got no idea what Jaden sees in Velma. Maybe he likes the black version of her. I don't know. But anyway, our favourite or best or whatever Scooby Doo characters, Fitzy.
Scrappy Doo. Scrappy Doo's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
As I said, I'd bring it back. I'd talk about him later. But he's just really funny. Like, I don't know. I think today people don't hate Scrappy Doo as much because they didn't have to like watch him for like 10 years or however long his run was. The infamous run of Scrappy Doo. But he's really funny. He's funny when he pops up in the live action film, and the bit I watched of Girl School. He's quite charming. So yeah, I enjoy some Scrappy Doo action.
Yeah. Like obviously, different contexts, because I do feel for all the people who like revolted against him in a way, because like they probably felt the exact same way, where it's like, oh, this guy, they introduced this character, oh, he's kind of funny, oh look, I love when he comes in, he's charming, and then they just had to sit through it for years and years, and like anyone would understandably be over it. But it's like now everyone's like, oh, but he's not bad. It's like, dude, you didn't have to go
you
through
don't
that.
know.
Exactly. Yeah. My favorite, so definitely Scooby and Shaggy, from this film, and just in general. Like the others kind of never really stood out to me, but like between them, I have to go with Shaggy as well with Andy, because something about, he's just charming. The food thing for sure that he shares with Scooby, but like in terms of the charming stuff, like he has all the positive traits that Scooby has without being annoying, kind of. Like I already mentioned, I don't know, Scooby does some things that it's like you say the same thing 50 times, whatever. Shaggy doesn't have anything that grates on me, at least not in my very limited experience so far. And then his one main thing is the like. That's sort of his thing in dialogue. And that's kind of cute, you know? I think that's fine. So it kind of reminded me of podcasting, you know what I mean? So it's Shaggy. And of course, the everything about the food. Love it. He's great.
Yeah. And he's he's not cocky or anything. He's very, very easy to get behind, you know. Yeah. I definitely like to hang out with Shaggy.
Oh yeah. He seems like a chill dude. He's relatable because he's actually scared of these situations that are pretty scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Shaggy. Cool. Okay. As always, we'd love you to submit your thoughts, responses, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section. Oh, Jesus. Or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. Join the Discord, by the way. The link's in the YouTube description. Check it out. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, what is a horror movie character or monster you're confident you could survive? Let us know. But that's it for this week's episode. Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
We're doing a very special film called Brightwood. It's a recent release. I think last year, was it? Was it like a few weeks ago?
It came out 2 days ago
2
in
days
Australia,
ago in
VOD.
Australia. Yeah, true.
Yeah. Huge release.
And we have a little bit of an inside connection, or the inside scoop. So we're gonna bring this movie to you guys. We're gonna share our insider knowledge right here, our insider connections, and let you know about this new film.
Absolutely. So yeah, you have to rent it, I guess, or buy it on demand if you want to watch it.
I mean,
That's the thing.
I don't know if it's available for that, but I'll check.
I assume so. Well, I assume so. I think that's why we're doing it. I think that's what happened. We were invited to review it because it's coming out.
But but I don't think it's available yet for rent or buy, isn't it? No?
Isn't that the whole point, though?
Apple TV might be on.
Okay.
You might be able to get it on iTunes, let's say.
Or how about we just don't tell anyone where they can get it, and it's like we're super elitist about it. It's like we're going to review this film.
Yeah, we'll gatekeep it.
Don't know how you can watch it. You'll have to figure it out yourself, you know what I mean? Maybe get your own industry connections, and then you can watch it.
Yeah, no, right. We worked hard for this. 4 years.
Literally years and years of podcasting for this moment.
Okay, yeah, you can. I'm going against what you're saying right now. You can buy or rent it on iTunes.
Okay.
So yeah,
there you go. Do that. Check it out, and we'll be talking about it next week. But yes, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I appreciate Liam for joining me as always. Not Jaden though, you know. I don't know if I'll ever see Jaden again. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see him if he's watched Brightwood next week. But yeah, have a great rest of your week, everyone, and goodbye.